Hey everybody, this is Liam Buller back in my last hours in Seattle. I've been here about 2 weeks this trip, but before I hit the road, I wanted to make this video number 3 in a series about freeing up the shoulder girdle. First couple videos have focused almost entirely on the spine and the cranium and helping those sort of free up without the extrinsic tension of the jaw for the cranium and the shoulders for the thoracic spine, especially, and chest and mid-back. And this video is going to be a lot about the shoulder and scapula, your shoulder blade, and arm bone and clavicle, and all the way down to the hand, and using some like decoupling. And I've been playing with this some in dance. There was a dance teacher here who influenced my thinking around this some. I went to a workshop from Ido Portal in Boulder, Colorado, when they did some of this opening sequence, and I know this is a very popular idea from Moshe Feldenkrais as well, if you're familiar with any of that work, which I am just a little bit. Interestingly, I don't know when I was going to say this, but it also, for me, feels reminiscent of the emotional work called The Work by Byron Katie, where there's this concept of, so much that we sort of package together, and this means this, and separating those out and sort of asking some questions to, she talks about it being akin to like freeing up a car in a rut by you sort of shake it back and forth. So we're going to do that through movement. I'm going to lower you down on Joe Kelly's electric table in his office. So, like the last two, I'll explain the concept, and this can be a standalone sort of training exercise, though very much sort of this idea that you can weave into whatever practice you are already doing or that you undertake in the future. So, to start with, identifying your shoulder blades and having those spread apart and then squeeze back together. And once you get a feel for that, really start to add some kind of range of motion quality to it. And you might notice what the arm bone is doing, and almost all of us in this sliding apart, there's going to be a roll in aspect, internal rotation, and the squeeze back, there's going to be external rotation. So you can also do a handful of reps emphasizing that. So when I'm squeezing back, I'm externally rotating. When I'm coming in, I'm internally rotating. And we start rocking the car a little bit, so to speak, by bringing the shoulder blades apart and externally rotating the arms, squeezing the shoulder blades together and internally rotating. So we're doing the opposite. So this is starting to be that decoupling. I would suggest, even though it's very simple, it looks simple, but you take the time to really get a feel for what this is like before you start adding any athleticism or squeeze. Same as the last two videos, and same as a lot of what I recommend on here. That, yeah, there's kind of a mechanical shearing range of motion thing happening. Much more important than that for a lot of us, in most of the cases, I think, is this more like neurological aspect of feeling like, where's my arm, where's my shoulder blades, kind of where are all these things in space? Can I rotate and really, what's that called, protract and retract and internally rotate. You can use the hand as a guide, but as we'll see, it's actually not a great guide because I have so much range of motion in my forearms too. So thinking about and moving the shoulder, the humeral head, rotating in, rotating out. So, you could do 10 reps, of each of those. That drawing apart, externally rotating, internal. You can add another piece onto that. Again, I have pronation and supination of the forearm, rolling in and rolling out. So what would tend to happen with protraction is the external rotation and the rolling out of the hand. right? Let me drop this even more. Where I'm here, and then, squeezing back here and then rolling in. So, what I'm starting to play with are things like protracting the scapula, drawing the shoulder blade wide, externally rotating the humeral head, and then rolling in into pronation, or back into the internal rotation. And end up with kind of this spiral, like ringing out effect. And again, there's both sort of the tissue ringing and just the sort of complexity of thought and complexity of body awareness that it takes to even kind of know what's going on. So if you're looking to fool yourself, you have 10,000 ways, and can be a real cool moment of being honest, of really feeling where things are. So it would be drawing across. You could externally rotate here, and internal, taking deep breaths helps free up as well as sort of neurologically embed. Retraction, could internally rotate. And really this is like mix and match. There's a little bit of range of motion this way at the wrist as well. So the sort of formula is you can feel where things maybe naturally go. You can spend some time exaggerating that. And then, what if I take this piece of it? That's the kind of rocking of the rut, rocking the car out of the rut. But if you take a piece of that, maybe I'm drawing the shoulder blades back, and I externally rotate here, and then I roll the forearms in. And if I'm really trying to get somewhere, I'm going to start to adapt to that getting somewhere. If I'm trying to engage and wake up the tissues, then I'm less likely to sort of fool myself, right? I get that ringing effect. Drawing apart, rolling in, and external. So I hope you're following me here. I feel like at worst this can seem a little scatterbrained, like, oh, just do some of this and then try some of that, right? And once you're talking the language, then that sort of makes sense. But start with that bit in the beginning of the video, decoupling the scapular and humeral head movement. This is a new sort of favorite part of my shoulder warm-up. And anytime I'm doing anything overhead, like when I've been doing my hanging, which is almost every day. And again, this is from the Ido Portal workshop that I took. And then you can really take that down the chain, even down into your fingers, sort of noticing the this is necessarily part of reaching out, and or is it, right? And you start to play with moving things the other way, or if there's more than one option, doing all sorts of options. Not because you need to reach for a cookie in some funny way, but because these chains of conditioning, we sort of open those up, and those end up having, in my very direct experience, lasting, profound, and often immediate effect, and the ability to do, really express any kind of movement anywhere in the body, but we're talking about the shoulder girdle, so I'll keep it there. Gosh, you could even bring the spine into this, right? Protraction, the tendency will be to go into thoracic flexion a little bit, so you can roll in and see what it's like to push forward in the thoracic extension, and then draw back, right? And kind of round my back here, and maybe rotate the forearms, right? Mix and match. So hope this is helpful. This, I will say here at the end, this has been a very, very significant piece of my training in healing my old shoulder injury and trauma, which is still very much underway. But yeah, this is a really beautiful and useful idea that I've been playing with, I don't know, for a couple years now, but it's coming more and more significant. So hope this helps. I think I'll do one more on the shoulder. I just get that feeling. I don't even know what it is yet, what we're going to do. But I'll make another video in the next week or two is the plan. So, from Seattle, Washington, adios. Hope this helps. See you down the line.